Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast right here on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel, powered by GamblersWorld.com. It is Tuesday, June the 27th, and we're going to be covering some NFL today with Mr. Jesse Shule of JesseShule.com and Mr. Sean Higgs of PicksandParleys.net. And, of course, I'm Ross Benjamin of RBWins.com. Boys, starting with you, Jesse. Haven't talked to you in a few days other than your butt call you gave me yesterday.
Yeah, well, you should be honored. But yeah, I had a decent weekend. Pretty happy about that. I think that my conservative approach and my lack of use of too many superlatives has paid off. So back on track, Ross.
Yeah. So for those of you who are wondering about the butt call, Jesse was at the gym yesterday, had his phone in his back pocket, and called me at 5:25 a.m. Eastern time, which I don't get up that early, folks. You know, I get up 7 o'clock-ish, but 5:25. But anyway, big time difference. If you're wondering what Jesse was doing at the gym at 5:25 a.m., well,
I'm a go-getter.
Yeah, no, it's like a 13-hour difference or whatever in Thailand where he is. So in any event, Sean, how are you, my man?
All right, nice weekend. I pulled the Jesse. I busted out the smoker. We had some meat the other day on Sunday. Came out pretty good. A nice winning weekend in baseball. I'll take it.
Yeah, not so much for me. I've been mirrored in a terrible slump since last Monday, losing a lot of games that I would use the next day. And for those of you who don't know what I'm referring to there, we all do this. We look at how we did the day before. I do it anyway. I look at my results from the day before. And there's sometimes when you lose games, you say, you know what? I handicapped it right. Just a couple of bad breaks here and there. I would make the same play today. And I would say that was the case on over 80% of my losers that I've had over the last 8 days. So you just keep plugging along, guys. You know, Jesse, I got to stop using the superlatives too and see if that's the remedy to get out of this little bit of slump I have.
I know you and I were both on one of those games. The under in the Yankees game on Saturday was a tough one for me and you. But thankfully for me, the CFL was quite kind to me this week.
There you go. That's what I mean. CFL, USFL, soccer, which Jesse does as well. You don't have to like the sports, folks. Just get his picks, bet them, wake up in the morning and check those winners off. So
it's easy when you don't like them because your own thought process won't get involved in the way of it. I think
exactly.
For newer folks, you know, it's like easy to be like, oh, you know what, whatever. I don't. The guy's winning. Who cares? I don't.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm like, oh, what the heck?
So good for Jesse and good for Sean coming off winning weekends and on a nice roll. And hey, that's what happens. You know, last week, as a matter of fact, I didn't do well in my free picks either, but these two gentlemen picked me up. So that's the way it works here. Eventually, we all hit a dry spot, and eventually we all get real hot, and we get real hot a lot more than we hit dry spots between the three of us. So that works. In any event, we're talking NFL today and NFL regular season win totals. We're going to be covering three teams in the NFC East. Sean will be looking at the Dallas Cowboys. Right now, their regular season win total, according to FanDuel, 5 minutes ago, these lines have been updated. Over 9.5 minus 154 and under 9.5 plus 124 on the Cowboys. Jesse Shule is going to be covering one of the NFC favorites, the Philadelphia Eagles, who made it to the Super Bowl last year. Their regular season win total, unsurprisingly, is right up there at 11.5 to go over plus 108 and to go under 11.5 minus 134. And I'm going to be covering the Washington Commanders, whose regular season win total is 6.5 to go over that number minus 104 and under that number minus 118. Sean, we're going to start with you, the Dallas Cowboys. You know, you look at this team and you can make the case they'll be a playoff team again in the NFC, and then there's others who will just you're either loving the Cowboys or you're just hating them in terms of what their prospects are for this season. And there seems to be nothing in between, unless you could change my mind on that.
Well, you know, I'm going to I am a Cowboy fan, believe it or not. I like that. Even in Jersey, my dad was a Redskin fan. You can't cheer for the Giants. Everybody hates Philadelphia. How do you not like, as a 7-year-old, Cowboys with a big star on their helmet? You're like, wow, these guys are great. So yes, I like Dallas. I look at this 9.5, and the over is a 154 lane juice, right? I mean, again, I could see them winning 10, 11, 12 games. On the flip side, as a Cowboy fan, at 9 games will probably be about right to get them into the playoffs at 9-8. That's how they're just a 500 team. I mean, you wait. I don't like McCarthy. I'll start with that. You wasted Romo with Jason Garrett. That is being wasted under McCarthy. The guy had he had a couple great seasons, I guess, in Green Bay. He won a Super Bowl, but really, for the talent that this guy gets, the teams never perform. So I got an offensive line that's getting older, wasting away. You got running back situation, which is, I like Tony Pollard. Well, we're gonna see how he does. He's gonna get the ball now. Wide receivers to me is a one-man show. I don't like the offense. I'm sorry. And the defense, as great as it was the last couple of years, you're going to get a little aggression here. I mean, they can't keep bailing you out. It just every game you're gonna break a little bit here. You're gonna wear down, and you can't just have them keep bailing you out and pulling out wins. And schedule-wise, you got the Eagles, who I think are the class of the NFC right now. I mean, I don't think there's anybody close. Maybe someone would. Nobody. There's nobody close to them. It's them and everybody else a step below them. I don't think anybody's close to them. I think the Giants are going to be improved. We saw that last year with Jan Jones. He gets a new coach. He's not fumbling. He's not throwing interceptions. But the guy who got left up there, Josh Allen, he's turning the ball over left and right. So I look at them at best, even against the lowly Washington Commanders. I mean, maybe 4 wins here, 3, splitting out. It could be worse. And they're out of conference schedule. You have the West and the AFC East. Jets at home, New England at home. Maybe a split there. You go 0-2. I mean, I add these up. What wins we have here? At Arizona, you should beat Arizona with whoever they're rolling out of quarterback. Carolina's going to have a first-year or new head coach, I should say, not a first-year head coach, and a rookie or a backup or a new starter, at least, to Carolina. And the Rams, I think, are all nice, easy wins for you. I don't think Seattle's a gimme at home. I don't think Detroit's a gimme at home. You got Buffalo and Miami on the road back-to-back. You have the Niners and the Chargers back-to-back. No, I'm going to go under 9. I mean, I get plus 124, sure. And I say, again, I'm Dallas fan. So maybe if I say, you know what, we'll go under the 9.5, they're going to go 13-4 and take it all the way to the Super Bowl. But honestly, I don't think that's going to happen. I look at another, hey, we're 9-8. That is our MO, 500 bunch. I'm going to go under plus the 124.
There you go. Under 9.5. Plus 124 for the Dallas Cowboys from Sean Higgs, who has been following the Cowboys for years and gives us an objective opinion, which we appreciate. And I can't disagree.
I got a Randy White signed mini helmet in here. I love Randy White. Old school Dallas. Tony Hill, Doug Cosby.
Yeah.
Ed Too Tall Jones.
Yeah. Jim Jeffcoat and
yes.
all the rest of them guys. Anyway, the bottom line is that you make a good point on their wide receiver situation. CD Lamb is a terrific wide receiver, but he's going to be doubled a lot. And beyond their top 3, they have very little quality depth. Yes, Tony Pollard is a good back. There's no 2 ways about it. I mean, to the point where they let Ezekiel Elliott go, they're confident in Pollard, and they should be. He's got more of a workload in recent years, and he's been productive when given that opportunity. But how does he do as the number 1 guy? That's the other side. I don't think that will be much of a difference. I can't disagree with your pick. I think that number is extremely accurate for the Cowboys. Jesse, you have any leans in terms or anything you want to add to what Sean said or what your ideas may be or thoughts as it applies to the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, it probably surprises no one that I agree wholeheartedly with Sean. Couldn't have said it any better myself. I think we're thinking along the same wavelength, but I'm going to ask Sean a question, a little bit unorthodox, to see how in tune we actually are. Sean, were you a Scooby-Doo fan when you were a kid?
Yeah, who wouldn't be a Scooby-Doo fan?
So what happens at the end of every Scooby-Doo episode?
They pull off the mask and
okay,
it's the same
so
villain.
Mike McCarthy is the villain. They pull off the mask. Who's underneath the mask?
Jerry Jones.
Jason Garrett.
Jason Garrett. It's the same thing.
So that's I see this as a total Scooby-Doo
Right.
ending. Mike McCarthy is basically Jason Garrett in a Scooby-Doo mask, and the Cowboys are still they used to be 8-8, but now that there's 17 games, they're a 9-8 team, and that's the way it's destined to play out.
Yep. No other way.
Wow. Okay. I don't
Clearly,
know.
Sean and I were thinking along the same wavelength. No.
Yeah, so the Scooby-Doo analogy comes out when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. So you should put a patent on that, Jesse, because I don't think anybody else will address an NFL regular season win total by comparing a team's win total to Scooby-Doo and how they're due. So anyway, Jesse brings some valuable insight as always, and we're going to move on. Yeah, here, let me ask you this question, Sean, and Jesse as well. A lot of rumors going around these days about some pending free agents that still haven't signed, namely Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Hopkins. And I know Dalvin Cook has been marketing the fact that he'd like to be in a package to go to a team in free agency with DeAndre Hopkins, and how much of a world of difference those two can make on the offensive side of the ball. One of the highly rumored teams that have been out there in terms of those two going to is the Dallas Cowboys. If they were able to somehow secure those two, how does it change your opinion in terms of the regular season win total? Would that make? And again, it's conjecture, it's rumors. There's nothing I know more than you folks out there other than what I read. And we know at this time of year, NFL writers are very bored, so they're looking for topic material. And of course, with those two guys out there, it provides plenty of opportunity to write some stuff that things that some people want to hear and other people totally disagree with. So what's your thoughts in that regard, Sean?
Will it probably move me to an over just because I get the wide receiver like Hopkins as a opposite of Lamb would just be tremendous. And the running back running backs are kind of interchangeable. You see how they do. And if I'm those two guys, though, why am I going to Dallas to fight off Philly? I'm calling the Saints and be like, hey, let's go to New Orleans and win this division, run away with it, and be the 2 seed behind Philly.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to go to the AFC anywhere. Where am I going to the AFC? I got to fight Buffalo, Miami, Cincinnati.
Maybe.
I think Denver's going to be proved. You have the Chiefs. It's NFC. That's where I'm going to find those guys if I want to win.
I mean, if you want to make a case for any team in the AFC, I could see that. What about Denver? Sean Payton being there, Russell Wilson coming off a bad year. I think that he's going to progress under the guidance of Sean Payton in this offense. What about, if they could pick up a package of Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Hopkins, how that changes the face. But again, like you said, Sean, they still got to beat the Chargers. They still got to beat the Chiefs in their own division, let alone 3 of the teams in the AFC East right now. The AFC South is weak. The AFC North, Cincinnati and Baltimore look like the class of that division. So in any event, Jesse, you want to add anything? Again, these are rumors and speculation, and I don't want to be accused of doing the same thing that the writers are doing at this time of year, but there's been enough publicity with these two guys to comment on it.
Well, they got to go somewhere, right? But I'm not sure Cook's a good fit for Dallas. Having is he ready to come in and be the backup to Tony Pollard? I don't think that he would come in and be the starter ahead of Tony Pollard. And does he really want to be the backup to Tony Pollard? He's not that dependable as far as staying healthy. I think he's a better fit on a team that doesn't have a solid number 1 running back where he's got a chance to share the workload and in a platoon situation or maybe be the starter. But I think Hopkins would be a great addition to Dallas, and that would certainly move the needle if he was to sign with the Cowboys. It would be worth half a game or a game. Would really make their offense a lot more dynamic, but we'll see where they land, I guess.
Yeah, I think that Dalvin Cook packaging himself and marketing himself with DeAndre Hopkins is pretty smart on his part, because I think Hopkins is much more in demand than he is. And as you alluded to, Jesse, or was it Sean that alluded to it? Running backs these days in the NFL are interchangeable. And there's a reason, and they don't have the value they had in years past. Running backs do not get 25, 30 carries a game anymore. If they do, it's very rare. So, all right, just a topic of discussion. Again, folks, we have no information that suggests that that's on the table or in the works or about to happen or imminent. Anyway, Jesse, how about the Philadelphia Eagles? As Sean said, the class of the NFC and nobody close. I think San Francisco might argue with that, but I can't totally disagree with Sean said in that regard. But yourself, the Philadelphia Eagles, again, over 11.5 plus 108, under 11.5 wins minus 134.
Well, I like the Eagles. Why not? I mean, they're a pretty damn good team. But I had the Eagles last year. I bet on their season win total to go over 8.5. I got a pretty good number. It was probably 9 for most people. I did bet on them to win the division last year as a plus money dog, and that cashed for me. So I was high on them last year, and I'm high on them this year. I think they're certainly the favorite to win the division, but last year it was 8.5. This year it's 11.5. Last year, one of the reasons I bet on them was I said, only 2 teams have a softer schedule than the Eagles had last year. So now this year they have more of a middle of the road schedule. So a much tougher schedule than they had last year. And I'm not seeing the value at 11.5. I think 10, 11 wins is enough to win the NFC East this year. I think being a pessimist pays more than being an optimist when it comes to betting on the NFL, especially futures and regular season wins totals. A lot of things can happen throughout the season. A lot of teams that we think are going to be terrible, like the Washington Commanders or the Carolina Panthers. There's going to be a team in that category with a win total of 7 or 6 that rattles off 8 or 10 wins. It happens every year, right?
Yeah.
And those teams get in the way of teams that are projected to win the 11, 12 games. When you're the big favorite and you run into one of those teams, so I think for me, the value is to take the under 11.5 at minus, what did you say, was minus 134, I believe.
Yes, minus 134. All right, so Jesse likes the Philadelphia Eagles under 11.5 regular season win totals at moneyline odds of minus 134. Sean, your thoughts on the Philadelphia? I guess you already shared your thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Listen, I thought the Eagles last year, I'm like, how the heck are these guys favorite? I think they were like at 11 win total last year. I'm like, no way these guys win. Yeah, they went to the Super Bowl. I like them over. I bet them already in week 1 minus 4.5 over New England. I think this team, they had a great draft, 2 defensive guys. Like that's where they need, extra love. Like it's all about defense. And it's, the NFL today is all about, we need edge rushers and pressure. This team looks really good. Yeah. And I like the coach. I really like the coach a lot. What's that? Who's beating these guys?
Yeah.
You said San Francisco. Who's San Francisco's quarterback? I'm not buying San Francisco this year. No way. Give me Seattle in the West. But yeah, I'll take the over. I don't care. As a Philly, I hate all Philly. I don't like their cheesesteaks, and I'm a fat guy. I don't like this. Sixers. When they traded Charles Barkley, I'm done with that town. Sixers, Eagles, the Flyers. I don't care. I'm a Philly hater.
The only family in the only family in New Jersey, Sean and his dad, that God rest his soul, that were cheering for 2 teams in the NFC East, not named the New York Giants. So there you go, folks. Talk about lack of what should I say? Lack of favoritism and not a homer. Well, Sean and his dad certainly were in that regard.
And let me tell you, I don't like Derek Jeter either as a Yankee fan. I thought Derek Jeter was most overrated. 300 slap hitter, Derek Jeter. Throw that out there. Really, that's sort of comment section pretty good too. I'll get everybody going down here.
I can write War and Peace as a retort to that comment, but anyway. I'm going to look at the Washington Commanders. Their regular season win total is 6.5 to go over is minus 104 to go under is minus 118. Look, let's start with their projected starting lineup. I'm looking at our lads, who I think is the best in that regard. And right now they're penciling in Sam Howell, the rookie quarterback out of North Carolina, to lead them right there. Look, I love Sam Howell. I love what he did at the college level. But I would be more fond of Sam Howell if he was on a team with a better supporting cast. I think he could succeed. I think he'll eventually be a very good NFL quarterback because of his mobility, his ability to throw the ball, and the kid's just a winner. However, as a starting quarterback in a division with the Philadelphia Eagles and also with another playoff team, the New York Giants, and also the Dallas Cowboys, he's going to have some difficulties. Not that the NFC East is a beast by any stretch other than Philadelphia, but you look at their non-conference opponents. They're facing the AFC East. You're looking at playing at where are we here? At Buffalo, no, excuse me, at New England and at the Jets. You can make a case they're going to lose both of those games because they're on the road, and then they get Buffalo and Miami at home. They'll be underdogs in both of those games, and I don't see them winning any of those contests. And then they face the NFC West. The Rams at the Rams. Well, that could be a pretty even game. I have them penciled in as a loss, but it would not be shocking if they won that contest. And then home game against San Fran, loss, at Seattle, loss, and then a win versus Arizona. And then within their own division, I got them going 1-5. I got them splitting with the Giants and losing both games against Dallas and Philly. I project them to be around 4-13, guys. But it wouldn't shock me if they went 5-12. So obviously, I like the under 6.5 -118 for the Washington Commanders. Great wide receiver in Sean McLaren. But the other two guys leave a lot to be desired. Jalen Dotson and Jahan Dotson, excuse me, and who's the other guy? Curtis Samuel. You're going to be looking at McLaurin getting a lot of double teams with a rookie quarterback. And their offensive line is average at best. Two good running backs, but when you're behind in a lot of games, the running game is moot. And their defense, I mean, I love their front four, but their back seven leaves a lot to be desired. You got two rookies projected to be starting in the secondary. So, again, I'm going under 6.5 on the Washington Commanders, -118. Jesse's going Philadelphia Eagles under 11.5, -134. Sean Higgs likes the Dallas Cowboys under 9.5 +124. Those are our three picks, NFL regular season win totals. But I'll let you guys comment on Washington. Start with you, Jess.
I think it's a decent bet, under 6.5 regular season wins, but perhaps the better bet for me would be the over-under. How many players play quarterback for the Commanders this year? Over or under 3? I'm taking the over.
Yeah, I would say, look, if you're going to come right at it,
is it 3 quarterbacks? I figured. I was like, hey.
I'm just joking. I made that up, but
yeah, it's a Scooby-Doo theory. He's got all kinds of good stuff today for us on the show.
Is it Hal or Taylor Haneke?
Yeah, Tyler Haneke is no longer there. He's gone.
Oh no, where'd he go to? Who's their backup?
I'd have to look that up, but it really wasn't anybody significant enough for me to think that if you're going to start Sam Howell at quarterback right out of the gate, you better stick with this kid for a while. If you're going to start a rookie quarterback, okay, and the easiest way to kill his confidence is to start him. He falls on his face, and you have to move on after 3 or 4 games. It's hard to regain that confidence after that. And that's a concerning part of the Washington Commanders season for me, Sean.
I don't understand Rivera. I get, these coaches, we have to win. It's all about getting wins. You bring in, actually, Jacoby Brissett is their backup there.
Yeah.
So they got Brissett.
They could do a lot worse than that. So
yeah, I think Brissett's a decent kind of guy but why wouldn't you throw Howell into the starting thing last year? You're not going anywhere. Let the kid play. This is a guy going into his senior year at NC where he was thought to be the best quarterback and the #1 draft pick, and a couple things go awry, and he's a third rounder or whatever. Yeah. So the talent was there. I don't, did he fall off the earth in 12 games, or is it a little combination of everything? I mean, if the kid is projected as the #1 pick one year or 6 months right? 8 months before the draft, he's the number 1 pick, and all of a sudden he's a third rounder. Let him play.
Yeah.
So now you don't come into a season and it's going to be like, well, we'll see how it goes. We're going to pull him out. He's a little rough. He threw 3 interceptions in the first quarter. Again, yeah, I'm with you on the.
Yeah, I refer to him as a rookie. He's a second-year guy.
Yeah.
But with the lack of playing time last year. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. So, Jesse, your thoughts, buddy?
Played 1 game.
Yeah, no, I think that Howell's going to start. I don't think he's going to finish the season. We've seen a lot of guys. It's been a revolving door, the quarterback room in Washington over the last few years, and that seems to be the MO for Rivera. So I expect that to continue again this year.
I expect them to be a heavily run-oriented offense based on their lack of quality depth on the outside. One really good wide receiver, like I said, in McLaren, and 2 good running backs in Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson. So, but they're going to lean on the running game. The problem is if you fall behind, then you have to get one-dimensional in the second half, and then you have a inexperienced quarterback. I like Sam Howell. I like him a lot. I would like his chances to succeed if he had a better supporting cast on the outside. But right now, if they lean on that running game, set up some play action pass, some easy throws for the kid, and work his way down the road, we'll see what happens. But I'm totally against it. If you're going to start a young quarterback like Sam Howell from the get-go, you got to give him at least 8 games, barring injury. That's my opinion. Or else you jeopardize the fact that this kid, there's no coming back from the lack of confidence he'll have after being benched. Anyway, Jesse, tell the folks what you got going on over at jesseshul.com.
Well, CFL season's off to a great start. Won 5 straight CFL bets heading into this week. I've got a 5-star CFL play up for Monday night that you can get right now, jesseshul.com. You can check me out on Twitter at Jesse Shul. You can check me out on YouTube at Jesse Shul Picks. And you got to come see me at jesseshul.com.
Jesse's got the Monday night football game in the Canadian Football League. And boy, oh boy, he's been on fire, hitting his last 5 in the CFL. And if you follow this guy, you know how good he is. If you haven't, do your research. This gentleman cashes tickets and cashes them with regularity. Mr. Sean Higgs, he's not too bad either. This guy was number 1 in the NFL last year, and by a long shot. 64% last year in the NFL, I think. Sean could correct me if he wishes.
Like maybe it's 54. Don't hype it up. Let's go. I gotta keep that.
Come on. You know exactly what the percentage was.
Careful with the superlatives, guys.
It was a good season. It was last year, right? So only as good as the next day. We all know this. It's only as good as the next day's plays.
So
but I'm looking forward to football this year. I like the NFL. It's easy. I shouldn't say. I just said it's easy. Wow, it's terrible. I don't know. I just you know how it is, guys. Sometimes you just see the board really well. You're like, wow, this is it's like the Matrix. You're like, it's. But again, that was last year. But now it's baseball season, so I'm happy with MLB. Nice winning weekend. I'm going to continue trying to grind it out on a basis with my little plus money dog. Some run line action. Take the Astros today, people. St. Louis is 2-1 Monty Montgomery's last 13 starts. So I'm going to go a little Astros for everybody too as well.
There you
Midday
go.
money, Mr. Sean Higgs on Twitter. There you go.
Extra bonus for Mr. Sean Higgs, a free baseball pick. But all joking aside, Sean was number 1 at picksandparleys.net. And if you took his documented record there and put it on any other site across the internet, he's going to be in the top 5, no matter where you look in the world, with the season he had last year. Jesse, who gets off to great starts in the NFL, and talking about great starts, in the month of September last year, 14-5 with my NFL regular season picks. And that's nothing new. For whatever reason, I can't explain it, folks. I get out of the gate quick in the NFL. Since 2010, as documented by Sports Capping, 65% winners in the NFL in the month of September. So my theory is quite simple. You get them early, because the bottom line is the odds makers, as good as they are, and I respect them all, They do their job tremendously, but at the end of the day, they're no different than any of us in the sports betting business that do it for a living. Is you don't have a handle early on when it comes to lines in the NFL because of the change of personnel, change of coaching staff, whatever the case may be. And you can catch some soft lines early on in the NFL. And Jesse, you know all about that. And again, I mentioned myself getting off to good starts. Jesse, you have had some good starts in the NFL, correct?
Yeah, no, I started off 10-0 last year. I find that, you have an opportunity to be ahead of the curve. As you mentioned, it takes the bookmakers a couple weeks for them to really tighten the screws on you. And you really do, if you do your homework and you get a little bit lucky, let's be honest, you have an opportunity to be ahead of the curve. And I try to put myself in that position. I can't guarantee that that's going to happen every year, but I can guarantee that I'm doing my best to put myself in that position every year.
Make sure you go to Jesse Schule's YouTube page as well, folks, or you can go right to Gambler's World, where all of his daily videos he does by himself are up there. Very informational stuff. Very seldom does he do or cover a same game that we do on this show. So pertinent and fresh material every day from Jesse and Sean Higgs. I know he doesn't like to brag about himself, but he's coming off a terrific NFL season. And I fully expect Sean's going, yeah, you guys get off the good starts. Big deal. I don't care if it's a month of September. I'm knocking them dead in October, November, December, January. Screw you guys. So I
think every week I looked at, I think every week I was 60% or better for the
Yeah.
season. And that's not like just like a 3 and 2 days. They were like 7 and 3s, so like all over the joint.
Yeah. You're a volume handicapper.
Yeah,
so.
there's a
What makes it even more impressive, right?
It's Gatling gun style.
I mean, makes that even more impressive is he's a volume handicapper that hits over 60% of his plays for the season last year. That's tremendous. And if you do your homework and you got a volume handicapper and he hits over 60% or near 64 like he did, you're going to make not a lot of money, a ton of money. So keep an eye on that. And don't forget, folks, our new website coming up, gamblersworld.net. And us three will be up there and probably at least 3 or 4 other guys that are going to participate in the show going forward. And some great names. And we appreciate if you support that new venture when it comes to fruition, approximately the middle of July. So there you go. Again, folks, don't forget, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, take a second to do so. It costs you absolutely nothing. And you're privy to some of the best sports betting information you'll find anywhere on the internet. All professional sports handicappers that do it for a living, not part-time, full-time guys like we are. So again, and at the end of the video, there's a like button down there, and Jesse's going to tell you what to do.
You got to smash it.
All right. He put it light. So I'll say it for him. Smash that like button, folks. Until the next time. Jesse Schule, Sean Higgs, and Ross Benjamin, we'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care and God bless.